Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about time restrictions. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, is it okay to feel constant pressure from non-technical people who expect too much from me because they do not know how complicated things can be? Yes. Welcome to the life. That's the software developer's dilemma. It's the main reason why software developers in the beginning of things feel enormous amounts of pressure. And you will make every single mistake usually as a junior software developer. You will get stressed over the fact that people are asking you to deliver and you can't meet the deadline, or you feel that things are taking too long to. You will start cutting corners. You're going to start ignoring writing tests, and now you're going to start to realize why there is almost nobody writing any tests, because it takes longer. And unfortunately, writing tests is not something that your stakeholder is going to notice. They're just going to be annoyed at you for taking too long and things like that. Perhaps, I mean, it depends on the stakeholder, of course. And learning how to deal with people who have no idea what you do, they have no idea how complicated it is, and meeting their expectations in a mature and doing that in a mature way. That's the soft skills that I've been talking about as one of the biggest parts of it. That's what I mean when I say manage stakeholders, or rather, it's one aspect of it. To have the personal maturity to deal with the people who don't really know what you're doing. And see, the thing about being a software developer and being a senior software developer is that you have reached a point where you're no longer afraid to give an accurate number of how long something's going to take. You are capable of giving an accurate number, and you're also not even the slightest, usually at the very least, slightest bit afraid to tell the stakeholder the exact number. A junior will usually overpromise, or will try to do what makes the stakeholder happy. A senior software developer will just give them the number, a real senior. Now, the reason why the senior will give the real number is because the senior has reached a point where the senior have realized that you will never be fast enough. Never. You'll never, ever, ever, ever be so good at software development that you will meet the expectation of the person, or usually at the very least the people who are setting unreasonable expectations on you, because the people who set unreasonable expectations are the people who are ignorant of how, as you said, how complicated these things are. And it's similar to a person having a customer who can never be happy. They're never happy because they have expectations that are unreasonable. And that's the thing, guys. That's the thing about growing up and becoming a stable person. Not everybody's gonna like you. And I know for the people pleasers out there that sucks, but if you want to get good at this stuff, go and work in the service counter at like an IT support thing or something like that, where you will have people who will be angry at you for no apparent reason. They will blame you for things that you have no control over. They will be angry at you, and they just want to ventilate all their frustration and anger right in your face. And if your stakeholder does the same thing, which can happen, it is usually because they are incompetent. It's actually that simple, because that's what I like to say. The problem is what the problem is. If you want me to create a feature that takes 2 weeks, then it takes 2 weeks, and nobody else can do it faster. The reason why you can't do it faster is because the system was in a state that it is right. It was in a state before I started. The amount of work that I have to do is at a certain point, and unfortunately I'm not a demigod, so I can't change the fact that I am where I am in my career. I have a code base that looks a certain way, and you have a feature request which it has to go through a certain process that we have agreed upon, and that's usually what the developers do. So they will find ways of cutting corners in order to just ship faster so that they will meet the deadline. But the thing that I keep telling people is that yes, you can do that. It's a short-term solution to do that, and sometimes you have to do it due to necessity. But on average, you're most of the time going to be better off just following procedure. And that basically is the same damn thing you would have done if you had not all the time in the world, but I hope you understand. You would do proper unit testing, you would make sure that you have the right abstractions, etc., etc., and then just learn that the reason why you want to cut corners is because you are afraid of being judged. You are afraid that your stakeholder is going to be upset with you, and that's personal security right there. That stress, that pressure that you feel is there because you think that people are upset with you because you're not fast enough or that you're not good at your job, when the reality is that you are most likely good at what you do and you are probably the right person to deal with this. It's simply that the person who is asking you to do it for them that person is incompetent. You said it yourself. They do not understand how complicated it is. No, how could they? They're ignorant of everything that has to do with software, yet they are somehow the people making you feel like you are not doing a good job. It would be like me chewing out a person like a banker or something like that for not making me enough money from my investments. Sure, I can, but I'm ultimately ignorant of what it means to actually invest money. I hope that I can I don't know how to puncture the people with this, because it's like having a person who is completely incompetent tell you that they are unhappy with the fact that you're doing your job when you are the person who has the knowledge, the skill, and you have all the information and you know what it means to build the thing or to make the thing. I have it's the same thing with my girlfriend. She has people who come in to the store when she works in the service counter, and they will yell at her for not being able to get their money back after they've used products that very clearly states in their contract that it has to be in near mean condition, and some stuff is broken. Like, they have literally used the thing so much that they're broken, but they still expect to get their money back because they're idiots. So what I want you to take away from this is that yes, it is very normal for you to feel constant pressure from stakeholders that you're not fast enough, or because they don't know how complicated things are. And this is the crucible that you have to run in order to become a senior software developer. So you see, you will reach in the beginning, as a junior, what usually happens is that you will feel very stressed over this, and you will feel stressed because you are still doubting the fact that you are a good software developer. You are trying to prove to yourself and all the seniors around you that you actually know this stuff, because programming is extremely complicated. And so of course you're going to have some performance anxieties, and for some people that never goes away. But ideally, as you mature as a software developer, you will reach the same conclusion that I have, the most real seniors, well, I'm not a real senior, but the people who have reached personal maturity in software development, you will come to the same conclusion, and that's why I express it as the problem is what the problem is. If you want me to move a mountain by myself, I'm going to have to do some stuff in order to make that happen. I'm not going to be able to just push it around. It's the same thing with software. If the code is in a very, very bad state, and I don't know all the parts of the system, well, it sucks to be you, my employer, but I need to take the time I need in order to fix this. If you have somebody else sitting around the corner who can do it faster, then please hire that person instead. That's the point you want to reach. You will want to reach an understanding that you can never be fast enough. because your employer will always have a lot of mistakes on their part. They will always have expectations that things are easier than they are. They will always have poor planning on their side, and they will come in with ad hoc requests that are completely unforeseeable and say, hey, we need to ship this today. And why? Well, it's just because they said the wrong thing in a meeting, and now you are left holding the bag because they are incompetent. So that's why I tell people, guys, there is no way for you to make everybody happy in software. The only thing you can really truly do is to ideally learn how to make the decision when it's time to talk to the stakeholder and explain that, no, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it in that amount of time because of these reasons, and then explain why that is, and then give them the options of saying, well, we can hack it, or we can do it this way or that way, but ultimately warn them that it's dangerous to do that for too long, because if you don't have unit tests, these things will happen. It's really that simple. Try to think about it this way. Guys, have you any idea how fast all the medical companies would be able to ship new medicine if we just removed all those pesky laws and regulations around how to test the stuff? Because, I mean, that would make everything much faster on their end. They would be able to ship all their deadlines. It's just that a lot of people would probably die. Have a great day.